The California lighthouse was and is important for navigation, but in more recent years also for the tourism of Aruba. The lighthouse was built in 1916, so it has a history of 100 years. There are many old stories and memories, and slowly but surely we have discovered the old technique as well. Monumentsfund has acquired the original mechanism and lantern and is not only taking care of the restoration of the lighthouse, but also of the mechanism and lantern by students of a local school for science and technique. Education is important to the Monumentsfund. Originally, the lighthouse was plastered with lime, produced in a lime kiln in Rancho that was built in 1892, just 1 year after the Californian shipwrecked on the coast of Aruba, which was the main reason for building the lighthouse. There used to be many lime kilns that produced lime for the grave of our commanders. Unfortunately, many of the signs have disappeared over time, so we do not know who is buried where. The kiln also produced lime for many houses. Most of them are kunuku houses that make up approximately 60% of our Aruban monuments. Monumentsfund puts them in the spotlight every year during our Fiesta de Kunuku. In those days, Oranjestad was the commercial heart of Aruba. Not only did they produce and sell lime, they also sold water. Having a water tank was the first commercial water selling point. After the introduction of desalination plants, the tanks became obsolete. Other companies flourished, and the richer the merchants became, the bigger their houses became, such as Huisje Wild, housing Utilities N.V. nowadays, and Henriquez Building, that is now housing the Monuments Bureau after a very thorough restoration. When Rancho was getting crowded, merchants started building their houses along what is now Wilhelminastraat. That used to be the main road coming from Bushiribana Gold Mill to the harbor of Oranjestad. One of these houses is the house of Dr. Arends that was built by the doctor for his fiancée-to-be, and she was not allowed to see it until it was completely finished and they got married. The house repurposed many times after that. It was even a Chinese restaurant. Now it is City Hall where many weddings take place. The house was built next to the first public school of Aruba that was built in 1888 and now houses the offices of the Algemene Rekenkamer Aruba. It has the most amazing cellars. In 1918, a new building was built next to the school, Hotel Colombia, which housed an open-air theater next to it where people had to bring their own seat to sit and watch the silent movies while listening to music. Monumentsfund organized a monumental movie night to recreate the feeling of going to the cinemas in the 1920s. The city kept on growing and developing. Sometimes old buildings had to make way for new modern developments. But one of them was saved in a very special way. It was taken apart and moved to a new location in Weststraat, moved originally from the main street. The whole commercial area of Oranjestad grew not only because of the gold industry, but also of the aloe industry, that was also known for its medicinal properties. Its products were most certainly sold in the local pharmacies such as Botica Aruba. That later became a shop that is now temporarily used by local artists and will soon be restored. The growing city also modernized its water supply, and a water tower was built in 1939. And now houses the LAR office. In the same year, its twin was opened in San Nicolas as the San Nicolas Water Tower. Because of the oil industry, this city began to grow from the 1920s onward and started to outgrow Oranjestad. Many people from the other islands came to work for the refinery or in the shops and industries that boomed. It became a melting pot of cultures. One of them was Mr. Nicolas, who came from Bonaire and built what is now known as Nicolas Store, a meeting place for many people. As in most of these buildings, the shop was downstairs and the family lived upstairs. When Mr. Nicolas needed small change, a dog would go upstairs with the money, bring it to grandmother, who would then change it and send the dog downstairs. After restoration, it will be used as a community museum, thus bringing people together again. During restoration, it was used as a backdrop for a fashion show. As a former Dutch island and still part of the Kingdom of the Netherlands with a status aparte, Aruba is still in close contact with the Netherlands and our Caribbean sister islands via the Dutch Caribbean Heritage Platform. Monumentsfund Aruba hopes to be able to preserve many more monuments for the future and inspire others to do the same, so our future generations will enjoy our beautiful and diverse built heritage that reflects all colorful aspects of our rich culture.